Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. So, doing some coverage for the latest Master Duel event, Water and Wind. At the current point of recording, I'm actually pretty much done with the event. Just need a few more wins to get the last little bit of gems there. But I'm kind of waiting to see if we probably will get some more additional missions, and I'll save my, last few wins I need to get gems within the event until they get those additional missions out. But I decided to bring Ice Barrier to the event. I've been having a lot of fun playing both Pure and Ice Barrier variants here on Master Duel, so I decided to, of course, go ahead and, as I said, bring it to the event. Also, do want to apologize if you end up hearing any background noise. I think they're doing some construction right now, so not the most ideal. But anyway, yeah, as far as the Water and Wind event goes, this is a little more interesting than I actually thought it was going to end up being as far as an event goes, right? Because my first thought was like, oh, it's another, event where you can only use certain attributes or types or, extra deck summoning methods, right? I don't tend to find those as interesting as certain other deck building limitations like Limit 1 or NR, for example. But I will say this much. Limiting to Water and Wind and nothing else does actually prove to be a bit more interesting than I thought it would be, mostly in terms of what's available as far as like hand traps and also just archetypes in general, right? Because obviously a lot of the most important hand traps in the game are not Water and Wind. Maxi is Earth, Ash Blossom's Fire, obviously Bestials are Light and Dark, and we'll care about Light and Dark stuff, so Nibiru's Light, Veiler's Light, a lot of those hand traps, like I said, are just not going to really end up being very present here. However, there are still a selection that we do get to use. Mainly Infinite Permanence is going to be a big one, as well as the Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. This is one of the few times I'm actually quite glad I have a playset of this card. Not that Ghost Mourner is a bad card. I definitely don't mind having a playset in general. You just don't get into getting to use it that often, because really, the fact that it's once per turn, you have to use it at a specific moment, means that Veiler and Imperm just tend to be better monster negations overall, right? But, when you're kind of limited, obviously, in the attributes that you can use, you do kind of have to turn to, obviously, hand traps within that attribute. So, Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill, as well as Droll and Lockbird, are going to be the big ones. Droll and Lockbird, I was a little hesitant to just go all in on a playset, because I wasn't really sure how many, matchups this deck would be good against. But if nothing else, it is quite good against the mirror match, mostly because they have like a million searches, especially if they lead with Medallion, right? So, yeah, if you can draw off the Medallion search, Ice Barrier won't really be able to do too much else unless they open a lot of just, gas in hand, right? Another kind of consequence to this format where there's not that many hand traps is that you kind of have to play more board breakers. Like, for example, you see me rocking a Raigeki and a Harpy's Feather Duster. These are not cards that I would ever play in Best of One under any normal circumstances. But again, I kind of feel like I've already maxed out on the number of hand traps that are like good and available in this format, and that's 9, right? So I decided to play the Raigeki and the Feather Duster to kind of help go with going second. Could have played Lightning Storms, could have played Evenleys, but these tend to be better in grindy games than those two cards, which is why I opted for these. Oh, and of course Triple Tactics Talent as well, but Talent is one of my go-to board breakers for Best of One anyway, right? Whereas Raigeki and Duster are cards I might not normally play. Did still elect to rock out the Callby and the Crossout here. Callby is just a very, very good card in general. Like, yeah, there might only be like 2 hand traps in the entire format to use it against, right? But Callby is still just very, very good disruption as a whole. Like, it's funny, because if Maxi got banned, like, Callby is only at 2 because Maxi is around. If Maxi got banned, I think I would advocate for Callby to get banned as well. I think it's what limited in the TCG, but Callby is such a powerful disruption tool, being able to wreck many, many strategies, with, of course, not only the banish, but also the lingering negate effect, which is very, very strong. So yeah, that's the main reason why I'm still playing Callby, and of course, in case we do run across Mourner and or Droll. Crossout Designator, the only reason I'm on Crossout is because I'm playing such a popular deck, which is Ice Barrier, right? I mean, of course, there is also the chance to cross out stuff like the Mourner, like the Droll, like the Imperm, but mostly I'm here to catch the mirror match, as well as those handed traps there, and possibly other board breakers, stuff like Triple Tack, Raigeki, or Duster if it ends up coming up. For the extra deck, I think the only thing non-optimized about my extra deck is that I'm only on one Lancia because I only own one. I think for pure Ice Barrier, you can definitely get away with one Lancia, but two is probably optimal for grindy games. I just haven't crafted my second one because it's like, as much as I do love Ice Barrier, it's kind of one of those decisions for me where it's like, how often am I really going to play this deck? Is it often enough to justify crafting a second UR for niche grind game scenarios? Again, for a deck I'm not even going to really play relatively that often. Again, I really like Ice Barrier, but there's just so many decks to play here on the channel that I think I'm going to stick with the one Lancia. So if I did have rather a second Lancia, probably just drop the Abyss Dweller from the extra deck to play it here. Could also see myself dropping New Bryo. This card has never come up for me in both the festival as well as the just, you know, playing this deck on regular ladder. But it's not a bad card, it's just not necessary at all. Pretty much everything else has come up in one form or another. The extra deck here is mostly the same, because obviously you would just play a lot of water monsters in a regular Ice Barrier extra anyway. I think Master Pack Bet as well as the Stealth Kraken package are the kind of atypical cards here, because normally you would play Baron, which is Wind, but banned here. And you would probably also normally play the Almirage, of course, to help combo off if you open just Mirror Mage, right? So we have to play the Master Pack Bet, and like I said, a Stealth Kraken package instead. I did also want to briefly talk about, because I showed off my own build for Ice Barrier, but this is one of those situations where there is a very, very solid loner deck available. There's actually two for this one. The Ghoti loner deck is definitely not too shabby at all. And also looking at the Ice Barrier loner deck, again, not that bad at all. I think the main thing I'm kind of impressed by with the Ice Barrier deck, or with both those decks, is that they actually did include a playset of Ghost Warners alongside Imperm to kind of help out with the negations there. But there are a lot of things, although I do think that this loner build for Ice Barrier is fine and it's definitely good enough to like get you the wins that you need. There are some things about it that are slightly unoptimal. There's a lot of random Ice Barrier cards we're playing, like Secret Guards and Zujin and Defender, that we don't need to be playing. General Wayne is not bad. I could definitely see playing maybe one copy, but two is definitely a little bit too much. Don't need Dai Soju either. And General Gantala. There's just a lot of like random Ice Barrier cards that are kind of not really seem like they're here for any reason other than just to be like, you know, because it's an Ice Barrier deck, right? Whereas, again, the build that I showed off was a little more optimized for just that overall best of one, not best of one, sorry, but just a more optimized, again, Ice Barrier build for the ladder here. So I think I've already pretty much covered the deck, like breaking it down card by card. A lot of the only things I haven't really talked about are the Ice Barrier monsters themselves. Still on Warlock over Spellbreaker, because I still think Warlock is better. I do understand the argument for Spellbreaker, but the thing I love about Warlock is not having to work Spellbreaker into my turn one. It's just so nice to be able to just go into Warlock and not have to really worry about it. So, but otherwise, it's a lot of the typical ratios you would see. We, of course, have the Raiho, the Mirror Mages, and the Revealers at 3, all that fun stuff. So, and of course, to play a set of Rand Adrenine. Very, very good in this deck. So since I've already kind of broken the deck down card by card at this point, we're just going to go ahead and move on to our replays. Okay, so our first opponent is going to be on Ghoti, but they're not even actually playing the Ghoti loner. I actually looked just because I was curious, but no, they built their own Ghoti deck, much like we built our own Ice Barrier deck for this event here. I am so sorry about that construction in the background, by the way. I'm actually kind of frustrated about it because I was on a call for over an hour before this recording started, and there was nothing going on in the background. And of course, the second I hit the record button, they go. I swear they know. If I didn't know better, I would say they know and they're fucking with me. But anyway, yeah, they're going to lead with the Pisces Moonlight of the Ghoti here. I'm going to go ahead and Ghost Warner that, which actually does end up being enough to kind of stop their turn one setup, which does also kind of make sense, right? Because Ghoti typically doesn't really do that much on their turn one. They do most of their comboing on your turn. They did get to banish one level 2 tuner, but one Synchro Summon, I should hopefully be able to play through that here, especially given a hand like this with so much gas. So I'm going to lead by pitching the Raiho for the Rand Adrenine. This does get my opponent to use the Pisces Light of the Ghoti, which is going to Synchro for a level 8. It's going to be the Ascan, the Bicorned Ghoti. Ascan's going to banish my Ice Jade token, and then also be able to come back by banishing the P6, I don't know, I can't even begin to guess, which then gets to add the Zep Ruby of the Ghoti, and then banish it. That'll give my opponent another option to synchro, which they're actually going to go into right away. I was a little surprised. I thought they were going to wait until I put more bodies on the board. I do think this was a misplay on my opponent's part to just go into the Ghoti of the Deep Beyond right this moment. Because I haven't even committed a normal summon yet, right? So I can still just grab the Revealer off the medallion, pitch my extra Adrenine for the Hexa. They have the Ghost Warner on the Hexa, which is probably why they were so confident, but we have the Foolish Burial as the last card in hand, which is going to allow us to continue comboing by pitching the Mirror Mage from the deck there. There we can summon the Georgius Swordsman and grab back the Mirror Mage. Gonna synchro the Georgius and the Revealer now. Going for the Lancia. I typically go for Lancia as my first synchro and put it in the EMZ. That way I know it's established, it's on the board. If they do some random summoning on my turn, I get to benefit off of it. If they remove it randomly on my turn, I get to benefit off of it. And because I put it in the EMZ specifically, I know that I have enough room in my main zones to be able to do my Mirror Mage combo line. Here, I'm not going to do much of a complicated combo line. I'm just going into the Dragite, but... And of course I get to draw a card off the Coral Dragon as well. So, non-OTK. I have noticed with this deck and in this event, it's a little hard to OTK, but we can very easily put our opponent in a situation where, you know, we have multiple disruptions against their follow-up or their comeback play. So, Ghoti of the Deep Beyond coming back. Lancia is going to revive the General Raiho at this point and turn the Ghoti into defense mode just in case they do try to battle. Also get to pull the Warlock from the deck off the PCs. Very nice here to stop any potential spells. Looks like they have White Sardine coming down, linking off with the Pasties to go for the Abyss Keeper. Abyss Keeper going to activate the first effect here and let it get negated by the General Raiho. Second effect, however, to banish the Raiho, and naturally they are going to discard to make sure it's still live. Looks like the level 6 Synopsis. It's not Synopsis, it's Snopius. Yeah, that's what it is. It's coming down as their last card, which is a very, very good last card for them to have here. It means they can summon back their Oscan. It means they can summon back their... oh my god, this one is called... What again? Psyx. Sykes. I don't know. Sykes is probably closer. I have no idea, though. Abyss Shark adding the lifeless leaf fish, rather. Not the leafless life fish. Going for that Coral Anemone with the sunny side up eggs on the side of her head. I've never been able to unsee that. Alright, now Zep and Leaf Fish going into the White Aura Porpoise, which lets them bring back the Zap and go for another Synchro Summon. I imagine they did that on purpose, as they are going to now go for the second Oscan here. I wondered if they were going to go for White Aura Whale for a moment, but no, this actually makes more sense, because now they can summon back the... the one that's not Synopsis. But I do also get the Lancia effect for level 11 Trishula. Unfortunately for me, because there was another effect on the chain, level 11 Trishula does actually miss the timing here and does not get to banish cards in the opponent's field. But that's okay, because when it's destroyed, I do still get to summon regular Trishula with 3,300 attack points from my extra deck. And also have the attack of all of my opponent's face-up monsters, which will very much come up here, as my opponent is at 1,700 life points. Not that much, so drawing for a turn and getting a triple attack, Ghoti of the Deep Beyond coming back, as well as my opponent's level 2 Ghoti tuners, the Paces, and the level 2 non-tuner as well, the Keef, Snopius. God, I feel like I'm butchering that name every time I say it. That's true of, like, almost every Ghoti name, though. Well, even technically Ghoti is not the correct pronunciation, right? It's just fish. Alright, so adding a Shift, banishing the Shift, Pacey's F activating to go for an 8. Is it going to be Oscan, or is that going to be... No, this is the White Aura Whale to destroy all the cards on my field. I love this theme on this board. This is some like Xenoblade-ass music right here. What makes you think of the Fog Beast theme in particular? But yeah, even though I lost my board, we can just triple tack, take the White Aura Whale, move to battle, swing in for lethal anyway. No, that was an extremely well-played game on my opponent's part. They played their Ghoti deck very, very well. I was just the lucky player who happened to rip the triple tack, the exact card needed in order to secure my victory there. So, still got a couple more games I want to share with you from the event. Let's see the next one here. Alright, our next opponent is going to be on Majespecter, which does actually end up being another very, very solid deck for this event. Because the whole archetype is wind. I didn't even think about that going into this event. They're like, oh yeah, Majespecter's a thing too. So, we're going first again with a very good hand. Actually, this would have been a very good first or second hand, since we opened, like, again, 2 of the 3 hand traps you get in this meta. I don't know, you know, it's interesting, right? Because, like, there's both arguments for and against a meta without a lot of hand traps. Some people really like it because it means their plays go off uninterrupted a lot. But some people don't like it because it means their opponent's plays go off uninterrupted a lot. Which I think both cases are pretty valid, right? As far as why you may or may not like or dislike them. Here, I don't know. I think I could have maybe done something a little bit better. Because I have this speaker that I'm not going to end up using. Well, because here's the thing, I summoned the speaker because I was like, yeah, surely I can go for another body, or like a different synchro monster with it. But then I thought about it and I was like, do I really want to end on anything other than Dragite? Like, maybe Gamera Agridine here, but I think I value the Dragite overall higher than Gamera Agridine going into the opponent's turn. Alright, now the Majespecter archetype as a whole, of course, can't be targeted, which means that my Imperm and Ghost Warner are actually not going to really do much of anything here. When the opponent goes to use the Yada, or place the Yada in the Pentascale, I'm going to negate that with the Dragite, because then I can potentially call by the Yada later, right? Of course, that's on top of disrupting their pendulum scales. Looks like they are going to set up a full Pentascale anyway. Not the luckiest case for me, but they do have the Yada, though, which means I get to end up using the call by here, which is pretty nice. They're going to use the Kieran F on the Lancia, makes sense. I'm going to flip up the call by here. Alright, so Kala is going to banish that Yada Engrave, which will stop them from adding a Majespecter spell, I believe? Yeah, spell card. Raiho is going to force him to discard the last card, the other Kieran, which we already knew about, I think. I'm pretty sure we knew that was a Kieran. Raiho, of course, they're going to let that get negated, and that's going to be all for their turn. So, alright, that's pretty good for us here. Oh, actually, I would have pointed out, too, that you might be wondering why Lancia didn't summon, because it left the field, right? Well, it actually didn't summon because it got returned to the extra deck, kind of like how Mirror Jade says leaves the field, but doesn't board wipe if it gets returned to the extra deck. I think I had a YouTube comment point out that I misspoke about that in my my Pure Ice Barrier video, that you could use Lancia's effect if it got bounced or spun, but that's not the case. Alright, so not a lot of plays from me here, but, I mean, we have Raiho and Dragite up, so, like, there's not realistically too much they can do, right? They kind of get, like, one monster effect, in a way, because it's all they really have the ability to discard for, and then they are, yeah, not really able to do much of anything else. And then, of course, the Dragite will negate any spell or trap cards. I'm a little surprised they didn't Panda Summon, but at the same time, it's like, would Panda Summoning out for the Kieran? I guess it would still block damage, though, if nothing else, right? Wouldn't that be good? Also, gotta love how I'm left stuck on these Imperms and this Ghost Warner. Stuck in the one matchup where it doesn't do anything. Alright, they've got the Raccoon and the Fox. Raccoon's gonna add another Kieran here, which they're gonna Tribute Summon for. But Raiho's just gonna negate that. So, yeah, they can't even bounce because they don't have any cards left in hand. And there we go, winning that grind game against the Majespecter deck. I got one more game I think we're going to show off here before we finish off. Okay, for our last game, we're going to see another one that's going to be up against Ghoti here. Gold Ghoti. Lots of Ghoti in this event. Well, and of course Ice Barrier. But, I mean, there are plenty of other decks. Like, of course, Majespecter, like we just saw. Lyralisk is another good one. I'm trying to think of other wind and water, like almost exclusive archetypes. Oh, Fluandereeze did get hit a little hard by the, what's it called? The ban list for the event, but still not bad at all. And all their stuff is wind or water, so that's definitely worth considering as well. Even again with I think Advent of Adventure was banned, but I don't know if they had any other hits besides that. I mean, that's a pretty substantial hit, but might not be the worst. Anyway, opponent's going to take the first turn here and actually set up a lot of stuff for a Ghoti turn 1 board. However, we have all the means to counter it here. During the standby phase, I'm going to use the Imper on the Shift, that way they are down 1 tuner. And after that, we're going to normal summon Hexa, sending the Mirror Mage for the Winds over Ice Barrier. Now I'm going to use the Winds over Ice Barrier for the Revealer here, and looks like here they're going to go for the Ghost Warner on the Revealer, which I have the call by for, thankfully. Except they have an Imperm as well. But we have the Freezing Chains to follow up our plays with. The main thing I was a little worried about here is them using their Paces, their other level 2 tuner that they have available in this situation. But thankfully, they're not going to do it before they pass priority back over to me, and now I can activate Triple Tactics talent. Once the Triple Tac is resolved, by the way, it kind of doesn't matter whether they actually activated the tuner or not, because Triple Tac doesn't target, right? So I'm not targeting the Paces. If they had gone for like an Oxan or an Ascan, right, that I could have taken that, then it would have been on my field when the summon resolved, and I could have like maybe banished one of their cards or something, but they're just going to let me take the Paces here, so I'm going to use the Freezing Chains to bring back the Mirror Mage, sack off the Paces, go for a bunch of Ice Barrier tokens. Synchro for the level 6 Coral Dragon, but I'm not going to go into the Dragite here. I think I'm going to value going into the Lancia with the Revealer a little bit more highly. Oh, and of course we are going to use Coral Dragon's, Destruction effect and Battle first. That way we're removing the maximum amount of monsters from our opponent's board, right? Just leaving them on the White Sardine, which has no on-board presence. That is something that can be very important to do if you're playing against a deck or an archetype where you're not familiar with everything. It's something that I, during the game was definitely doing as I was like battling and popping stuff with Coral Dragon, is just going through and reading all of these cards, just kind of glancing them over to make sure, like, okay, no weird graveyard effect, no weird if I'm destroyed, I win the duel. not that dramatic, but you know what I mean. Just no weird effects that would trigger. And yeah, just kind of leaving them with the 1 level 2 monster on the field. They do top deck the, what's this card called again? Keef. Now they can banish the Sif, but even from there, right, I have the General Raiho on the field, so like, even if they do get to a point where they could banish the Sif to summon back on my turn, they're not going to be able to do that because they won't have cards to discard, so that's why I prioritize going into Lancia, because I think getting the General Raiho on the field is going to be the most important thing to stop your opponent's stuff, so anyway, thanks for watching, even though it just did have all the background noise. Hopefully I can take care of that in editing, and maybe this complaining will kind of seem like it's for no reason, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thanks as always. We're just going to move now to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel, is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to, because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's, again, free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up, and it all definitely means the world. So thank you, each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.